So with that, we're going to now have RJ, let me begin by saying, it's not just simple arithmetic how all the numbers come together. So RJ's worked closely with WashDOT to go through some scenarios so that you can have a degree of comfort in knowing about approximately what the $6 million minus credit looks like. So RJ?
Okay, so
Do we have a hard copy of this for us?
He's going to run different scenarios, but we can print them out for you.
Okay, very good.
yeah, if you want to see hard copies, you ask for what scenario you want to see, and I can run it, print those off. So under this first scenario, what you're looking at here first is the $6 million is a City of Liberty Lakes contribution. And that's in the draft. You're looking at the contract. That's where you can find where that recital says that $6 million. The assumptions that we made, I've made 3 assumptions on there. Barker and Harbor projects are on budget. And for this scenario, we should always assume Barker is going to be on budget because we're not responsible, and that's in one of the recitals. Barker's not included in the overages. So the scenarios on Barker don't matter. We're just going to assume Barker is always on budget. The valuation for Henry is $1.2 million. And then on this scenario, Henry Road budget, Henry Road is also on budget. So everything is coming in on site. In this section here, it talks about the landscape improvements that Larry Larson mentioned, which is in the recital as well. You see the acquired real estate's in here for 1.2. Right now, the best estimate we have per the agreement for the design of Henry Road is 850. That's still to be determined, but for this scenario, it's 850. And then this 3.8 is the construction of Henry Road. That's what, if you add the math in here, that is what the city's portion would be going to the projects. Since all the projects together would still combine with this next one here, still all the projects that are built would be under the overall budget. There would actually be a savings. And because there's a savings, and the recital talks about the city shares in that savings. So where we're at 3.8, that actually gets reduced from that $3 million after all the projects are all done. So when you look at the cash summary portion, what we would pay out in this scenario to WashDOT is $3.1 million. We paid for design of $850, and the total cash out of pocket for the city is $3.9 million. For cash flow purposes, the resolution talks about us doing the design phase as one part and the construction as the second part. So we split up the tip lift reimbursement in 2 different phases. We do the design first, then we get reimbursed for that. And a year later, we do the construction, and then we get reimbursed for that. So it's not all one-time money going out. So to see how I'm going to show you, just peek at the WashDOT spreadsheet that we're working from. This includes all 3 projects in here. But for instance, let's say just so you see how the numbers work, let's say the WashDOT or the Henry Road comes in at 10% over budget. So that would be $9.5 million roughly, which is about 10% here. If you go back to this one-page summary, what you would notice is these numbers still stay the same. We're still 1.2 million of the right-of-way. We've still got the design of Henry at 850. Our construction piece is still the 3.8. That gets us down to the total $6 million if you took all these components together here. Because all the projects come under budget, there's a savings of $654,000 that the city would get, so that the cash going out is 3.2. We're still doing the design for 850 and it's 4.14. So you'll notice for the first scenario where everything's on budget, the total cash is about 3.9. In this case, it's 4.1. So if you take this in one step farther, let's go to even more of a worst case, how far you would have to go to where we start having overage. You get close to about 12.5 million here is with of construction going over. So the project would have to go almost 45% over budget. You get to this scenario here where it says overage. And I have to cheat because this is such a complicated formula that I got to get this number to come over and produce correctly. These first stages, this number doesn't change. It's still kind of the same assumptions, but when we get to the end of the day, our project has gone over budget. The cash paid to WashDOT is $4 million, we still paid for design of $850, total cash is $4.8 million.
So can I paraphrase that scenario, is the construction would have to be 44% over budget, and we would owe $4.8 million towards the project. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're at 10. You're at 10?
10, no.
No, we were at
We
4.8.
paid 6.
So this first one is a summary of the credits and the construction and everything. $6 million is our total obligation to the project. The bottom portion is the cash numerator. They're complementary numbers. They're not added, you add this and this to it. So if you were to look at the total cash that we're spending, it's 4.85 in this scenario. If you add the 1.2 million of it, you get to 6,050,000. That's because in this scenario we went for an overage.
So just to paraphrase, the out-of-pocket to the city of Liberty Lake, if it was 44% over budget, the contribution would be $4.8 million, $4.85 million. And the resolution that you're passing, RJ, for the TIF and lift contribution is 5.15.
5.15.
So the TIF and lift, if you approve it, fully funds the total cash that the city of Liberty Lake would be obligated to commit to this project.